Okay, so today we'll talk about troubleshooting and few advanced things like related to cloud, related to controller failover and all. Okay, so when it comes to troubleshooting, we'll discuss it protocol by protocol. First, let's discuss about like what all the issues, possible issues we'll face in CIFS. So when it comes to CIFS, okay, the most common issue is like CIFS share, okay, inaccessible, not able to access the share, something like that. Okay, okay, not accessible. So what are the things we need to look at? Like what are the parameters or what are the things we need to take a look in order to resolve the issue? So when you come across this kind of issue, when someone complained that no, share is not accessible, then first thing that will come into mind is you need to take a look at the share level and user level permissions. Okay, these two are the first things that you need to check when someone told you that they are not able to access the share. So this is the first thing. Once once you confirm that both levels they have access on a share level as well as user level, still they are unable to access the share, then other thing is you need to check the SMB version compatibility. Check the version SMB version compatibility. That means what kind of SMB version, what SMB version we are using. Okay, so client is accessing from a workstation, right? Like a Windows laptop or Windows desktop or from a Windows server, right? So that version, will it support SMB, whatever the version we are using? For example, if you take example of SMB3, for example, you have enabled only SMB3, you have not enabled SMB2 or SMB1 due to security reasons. Then in that case, if your clients that are running on Windows 7 or earlier versions will be not able to access the shares via SMB3 because Windows 7 will not support SMB3. Okay, it should be SMB2 or SMB1 only. If you want to only Windows 10 or Windows 11 higher versions, and when it comes to server level also Windows 2008, 2012, 2016, 2019, 2020 two, these will support SMB3. Whatever the prior versions, right, like 2003 and all, they'll not support SMB3. So like that, that is a one more thing you need to check. Okay, when someone told you that even if they have permissions, but they are unable to access the share, then this might be one more thing you need to take a look at. Okay, so this is also good, like you don't have any issues with the compatibility, like SMA3 or whatever version that you have enabled is supported at the operating system level. Then there are things like maybe network issue. There might be, it might be due to network. For example, SMB CIFS is a protocol which can be accessed via network, right? For example, if my storage array is in USA, for example, New York, still I'll be able to access the shares from that storage array from Hyderabad location or from India, right? So how come we will be able to access it? It is like whenever you open a session, it will travel through network, throughout the network, right? When you copy something, it will travel over network and it will copy the data there. So like that. Okay, so you might need to check, you might need to coordinate with the network team and see if there is something wrong with the network also. Okay, so in order to make sure that it is a network issue, what you need to do, you need to log into a server in the same data center and try to access it from there. If you are able to access it from there, then there might be something wrong with the network only most of the times. Okay. Okay, network issue. This is a one thing. You need to work with network team to resolve these kind of network issues. Okay. How can we confirm that it is a network issue? We have things called packet capture or packet trace. You need to run packet traces. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. You need to run the packet traces and upload the packet traces to Netapp. Like create a case with Netapp and capture the packet traces and upload them to the Netapp support site, your case, so that they'll analyze the packet traces and they'll let you know. Okay, packet traces is nothing but what it will do. It will check the network communication between the source and destination. That means your storage array and server, and it will make sure it will capture everything. Are there any packets dropping in between the network? Is there any communication issue? Like that, it will capture everything. Okay, and it will give us the answers related to network. Okay, actually, we'll be not able to analyze these packet traces. That is the reason we need to take help from Netapp, create a case and capture the packet traces and let Netapp analyze the things. Okay, these are the things mostly we'll do whenever we got a uh, like issue from client stating that they are unable to access the share. Apart from these, uh, so this is if someone will be not able to access a single share, that means only a single person he'll be not able to access the share. What if you got a complaint like there are people like all the shares are inaccessible, all the shares are not accessible on the storage. So many people complaining that they are not able to access the shares from a particular storage. No one will be able to get access to the shares. Then this might not be the permission issue or something. What you need to do first, you need to check the CIFS services. Are they enabled or someone stopped the CIFS? That is first thing you need to check. Okay, you know, right? We server CIFS show. If you run that command, it will show you CIFS services are running or not. If CIFS services are running, still they're unable to access the share. Then one more thing, what you need to check is communication. Okay, communication between uh, virtual CIFS server and virtual CIFS server and domain controller issue. That means your virtual CIFS server that you configured on top of your vServer has lost communication with domain controller. In that case, my virtual CIFS server will be not able to communicate with domain controller and will be not able to access the list of users in the domain and their usernames and passwords, right? So that is the reason what it will do when virtual CIFS server lost communication with domain controller, nobody will be able to access the CIFS shares. And I think I have already shown you how to check the communication between your virtual CIFS server and domain controller. There is a command actually. If you forgot that, I'll show you one more time how to check the communication between virtual CIFS server and domain controller. Okay, we have checked the communication. Even communication is also good. Then then it might be communication issue between, for example, if you found that the communication issue is there between virtual CIFS server and domain controller, then again you need to work with network team and you need to work with them like, or you need to work with Windows team and make sure that why it is not reachable. You need to find the root cause and ask them to fix it for you. Okay. Next, another issue is communication issue between vServer and vScan server. Okay, vServer and vScan server. So I told you, right? Normally for CIFS, we'll use antivirus scanning also because SMB is not a secure protocol, right? SMB is not a secure protocol. So what you need to do, um, whenever you're copying something or whenever you're reading something from the CIFS share, it will go through the antivirus scanning based on the scanning policy that you applied. You remember, right? Strict, normal, read only, no scan. Like we have options, right? So yeah, based on those options, it will go for scanning. Whenever you are reading the data from the share or whenever you are writing data to the share, it will go through antivirus scanning. For example, you have enabled the antivirus scanning, but due to some network issue or some other issue, my vServer is unable to communicate with antivirus scanning server. Then that time, when you write something or when you are trying to access the share, first the communication will go to antivirus scanning server. It will scan there. Then only the communication will send. I mean, the connection will send to the vServer, right? But as there is no communication enabled between your vServer and antivirus scanning server, there is a issue between the communication between your vServer and antivirus scanning server, vScan server. It will not allow you to access the shares. Okay. A- as antivirus server is not reachable, CIFS protocol will not allow you to access the data inside the shares. Okay, when you enable the antivirus scanning, then how come you make sure that it is due to antivirus scanning issue? What you need to do, you need to disable the antivirus scanning on top of that vServer. Then it will allow you to access the shares. Then you can confirm that okay, it might be due to the communication issue between vServer and antivirus scanning server. That is the reason. Yeah, you can get a confirmation from there. Once you enable it again, it will not allow you to access if the communication is not there between your vServer and antivirus scanning server. Okay, like these are the things you need to take a look when you got a complaint that all shares are inaccessible, not a particular share. All shares from that storage, a particular storage system, are inaccessible. Then you need to take a look at these things. Okay, any questions so far?
No, Navin from mine.
Next, one more issue. Someone complained that they are able to access the share, but unable to write the data. Unable to write the data. Then this is not related to CIFS or NFS. This is not related to protocol actually. When you are able to access it, but still they're unable to write the data. Um, First thing what you need to check is you need to check that do you have read rate access to the share or whatever it is. Even NFS also it is the same thing. You need to make sure that the particular user who is trying to write the data is he has access read rate access to the share or not. Once you make sure that yes he has a read rate access, then the second thing what you need to check is inodes. There is a concept called inodes. Okay, you need to check that does he have enough inodes on the share, on the volume, like on the volume where we have created that share. Okay, we'll talk about inodes also today. Make sure that we have enough inodes available on the volume where you have created the share. Okay, these are the two things you need to check whenever someone complained about they are able to access the share but unable to write anything, unable to write a new data. Okay, so these are the two things they need to take a look at. Any questions? So mostly these are the common issues that you'll get on top of CIFS protocol. Okay, apart from this, nothing else, but mostly these are the common issues. Okay. Next, NFS. When it comes to NFS, same thing. Volume access denied. Okay, this is a common issue that we'll get in NFS. When you try to mount it, or you'll get access denied, or you have already mounted it, but when you try to enter into the mount point, you'll get access denied. Then this might be the issue with, again, check the export policies and make sure that, okay, the server is part of a export policy rules, and it has appropriate permissions to in the export policy rule. Make sure that everything is configured properly, and you have a command, right? Export policy check access. By using that command, verify from your end. Okay, you have verified everything looks good from your end. Then what is the next step? The next step is, again, NFS version compatibility. Okay, all operating systems will not support all versions. For example, you have enabled only NFS 4 or 4.1, and you are accessing it from a very older Linux operating system or Unix operating system, Solaris, whatever it is. Then, as it is not compatible with your latest NFS version, you'll be not able to access the data like that. So you need to make sure that you check the compatibility as well. Whenever someone complained that, yeah, they are not able to mount the NFS volume, or they're not able to access the NFS volume, then it might be the another issue. Okay, you have checked everything. NFS version is also compatible. Then what you need to do? Then our end, we don't have anything to check. It might be, again, normal network issue. Network issue is a common in NAS protocols. That might be another thing you need to work with network team and take a look at it. Okay, and one more thing is, ask server team to check the flags. Uh, does they have enabled NFS flags on their end or not? You need to check, ask them, and get the confirmation from them. And again, it might be the, again, authentication issue. I told you, right? While creating the NFS export policy rules, it will give us like a lot of authentication, right? Authentication options like SYS, KRB5, NTLM, like that. Make sure that whatever the authentication, the mechanism the server team is using, the same thing we have mentioned in the export policy rule while creating the export policy and export policy rule. Make sure that these things also are part of that. Okay, like that. You need to check all these things when you come across NFS issue, any NFS issue. Okay. Next, again, for example, they're able to access the mount point, they're able to see the data, but they are unable to write the data. Then, first thing is check that they have read-write access. If they have read-write access, then the next thing is, again, inodes. You need to check the inodes, that they have enough inodes to write the data. We'll talk about inodes. Don't worry. Okay, that's it. NFS troubleshooting is pretty simple. Okay. When it comes to iSCSI, same thing. Learn not visible. Okay, that is the common issue that we'll get here. Okay, so when someone told you that LUN is not visible, then you need to check that iSCSI services enabled on both vServer as well as lifts. Okay, that is the first thing you need to check. Okay, once you get a confirmation from them, then what you need to do, you need to check the I group, like whatever the IQN number in server IQN initiators that we are using, are they logged into iGroup or not? I told you, right? When you run the command iGroup some command, it will show you, right? The initiators are logged in, not logged in, something like that. So you need to take a look at that. If they are showing logged in, then we are good. If they are showing not logged in, then you need to find the reason why they are not logged in. So what you need to do, you need to work with server team and check the iSCSI initiator on the server end, and you need to make sure that everything is configured properly from the server perspective. Okay. One more thing, whenever sometimes LUN will be not visible, another issue will be like, mm, while creating a I group or while creating a LUN, we need to specify the operating system, right? So you have to make sure that you have specified correct operating system while creating a LUN or I group. Okay, then only it will be visible without any issues, or else it might cause problems to us. So yeah, before creating a LUN or before creating a I group, make sure that you are entering the correct operating system. Okay? That is another thing. Apart from that, yeah, one more thing is make sure that no firewall blocking. This firewall blocking, firewall is nothing but it is again a device which will be there on the network end. Okay, which will be there on the network end to block the communication or to maintain the communication. Okay, so make sure that the ports you can specify something like, for example, only communications can happen via this particular port number, like that. You can block the things, you can allow the things by using firewall. This is again will be managed by network team. And again, firewall also not only belongs to iSCSI. Whenever you are facing some issues with the CIFS and NFS also, you need to work with network team and ask them to check the firewall. Okay, this is also one more issue, like that. These are the things you need to check when you got a message from server team that LUN is not visible. So these are the things we need to take a look at. Okay, and we'll talk about FCP. So when it comes to performance issues on these three protocols, okay, mostly perform when it is linked with performance, network will be the culprit. Network will be the main culprit most of the times. When you are complaining about a performance issue on both the NAS protocols or iSCSI, it might be mostly due to network issue only. Or there are some settings that we have configured on CIFS, or some settings that we have configured on NFS also might cause the performance issue or might cause the delay. Okay, so there is a one more thing, settings of protocol. Okay, that is another thing we need to take a look at it. But mostly settings related things will be not able to find it on our own. What we need to do, we need to open a case with Netapp. They'll dig deep into it, and they'll only find it, like what settings that we have enabled which are causing the issue. Do we need to enable them, or do we need to disable something to resolve the performance issue? Like that, they'll only tell us. We'll be not able to find it on our own. Okay, next thing, when it comes to performance issue on CIFS, NFS, or iSCSI. When it comes to CIFS, it might be due to antivirus scanning. Okay, because whatever the data you are copying, right, it has to go through antivirus scanning, right? Then only it will allow your vServer or CIFS protocol will allow the data to copy into the uh, copy inside the volume, right? So So what you need to do, you need to work with your security team and make sure that everything is configured properly as per the recommendations from Netapp and antivirus server vendor. Okay, you need to make sure that everything is configured properly. Or else, if you configured wrongly, I mean, if you configured some settings a little wrong, then also it will cause a performance issue. Okay, due to antivirus scanning. like that. Like not only that, it might be due to overloaded nodes. For example, you have two nodes in your cluster, but you have um, placed most of the critical volumes on a single node, which is consuming more resources from a single node and putting burden on that node. That also can cause the issue. And one more thing is load on aggregates. Okay. For example, you have aggregates. I mean, you have an aggregate which is running which created with SATA drives, but you are putting like high load volumes, high performance volumes there, that which will consume all the IOPS. Okay. Even though if you have a free space on the aggregate, you ran out of IOPS, because I told you, right? SATA disk support, SATA disk can only support like 75 IOPS. For example, you have created a aggregate with the 20 disks, then it will be 20 into 75. I mean, those are the maximum IOPS that particular aggregate can support. So that might be the issue with the aggregate as well. Like that, you need to check all these things. Like troubleshooting is not an easy task. Like configuring and everything. For configuring, you'll be having specific steps. Okay, you need to create a volume, something like that. But when it comes to troubleshooting, especially when it comes to performance troubleshooting, you need to take a look at each and everything, each and every small area. You need to take a look at it. Okay, like that. Okay, these are the things you need to check whenever you come across a performance issue with NFS, CIFS, or iSCSI. But FCP, it is a different thing, right? Because FCP will not use the normal network. It has a dedicated network called fiber channel. So it will it is little different there. Okay, let me let's talk about the issues on FCP. So when it comes to FCP, the most common issue is LUN not visible. Okay, lost connection with LUN, like these kind of things will get most frequently. Then whenever you come across this kind of issue, make sure that LUN is mapped to I group or not. Okay, that is the first thing you need to check. Once you make sure that LUN is mapped to I group, then check TP initiators in I group. Okay, what you need to do, you need to check the initiator status, like they are logged in or not logged in. You need to check that. Okay, initiators are logged in, still I'm not able to see the LUN, then it might be the issue with the zoning. We'll do configurations at switch level, right? I mean, if initiators are not logged in, then you need to check the zoning and all. If the initiators are logged in, then you don't need to worry about zoning, because if you configure zoning properly, then only initiators will be visible on the I group, right? If you don't see the initiators logged in, then you need to check the zoning level as well, like what happened, everything. Not only zoning, you need to you need to work with server team and check the HBA status. Okay, that is a one more thing you need to take a look if initiators are not logged in. Okay, if initiators are logged in, still my server will be not able to see the LUNs, then it might be the issue with multipathing software as well. So you need to work with the server team and check uh, are there any issues with the multipathing software on server end. Do they need to do anything like that? You need to work with them, and we need to fix the multipathing issue. Okay, uh, one more thing might be due to incompatible software, incompatible firmware. For example, the data on tab version that we are running is not compatible with the server HBA version, server HBA firmware. Then also my server HBS will be not able to see the LUNs from that are coming from the storage. So that is the reason whenever you are performing on tap upgrade, what you need to do, you need to thoroughly check the compatibilities, software and hardware compatibilities, or else it will cause us a lot of issues. Okay, so yeah, these are the things you need to take a look when you come across LUN is not visible. And one more thing is you need to make sure that LUN is online, like that. You need to check all these things. Okay, and when it comes to performance issue on FCP, okay, again same thing, node overloaded or not, you need to check again the same way. Aggregate IOPS, like calculate the aggregate and uh, calculate how many volumes you have kept on that aggregate, what is the aggregate utilization, what is the node utilization, like that. And also you need to check the consistency consistency point, CP, how frequently consistency point is creating. I told you, right, when we discussed about the controller architecture, I told you consistency point will be triggered every 10 seconds, right? But there are some other reasons where consistency point will be triggered. The consistency point will be triggered when NVRAM, controller NVRAM is 50% full. Okay. That time also it will trigger before 10 seconds itself. For example, just now consistency point got triggered, but after 3 seconds, the NVRAM is full now. So what it will do, what will happen? It will trigger the consistency point immediately. Okay. So that is a one more thing you need to take a look at. Okay, I'll show you where to check the consistency point and all. Like it will give us the reasons. So if consistency point is triggering more frequently, that will also cause us a lot of issues. Okay, when snapshot got created, also it will trigger a new consistency point before. Like frequent creation of consistency point also will cause performance issues. So again, this is not only for FCP. Consistency point thing is these three things are related to everything, all the protocols. Next thing is, well, so on SAN switch level we need to check, like are there any all the paths are up and running. Like I told you, right, with the help of zoning we can decide the paths between server and storage, right? So make sure that all paths are online, all ports on the switch are online, which are where the server is and the storage are connected to, and no bad SFPs. Okay, no errors from the ports where the server and storage are connected. Like we know, right, already we have gone through the commands, port error show, port show, SFP show. By using all these commands we need to check the things on switch level. Okay, yeah, like that we need to take a look at everything when it comes to performance issue. We cannot straight away say that okay, issue is there, issue is here. We need to dig one by one. But good thing is when it comes to performance issue, we have OCOM, right? On command unified manager, which is a active IQ unified manager nowadays, which will show us the uh, which will help us with by giving us the reason. Like if there is something wrong with the storage end itself, it will throw us like, yeah, node is highly utilized, that's the reason you are facing this performance issues, or aggregate is overutilized, that is the reason you are getting this issue. Like that active IQ infed manager will give us, will throw us the cause. It will help us during the performance troubleshooting from a Netapp end. But if the issue is outside Netapp, then you need to check everything on your own, like a switch level. Then there are some switch tools as well. But yeah, but I'll prefer using commands. Better to go with the port error show, port show, SFP show, all these commands. Okay. So yeah, mostly errors only. By seeing the errors only, errors on the ports only, we'll come to know like what is the issue. Is it a SFP got failed, or is it a port, one of the port the server is connected is failed, or is it a cable that leaking the frames? Do we need to change the cable or not? Do we need to change the SFP? Like that, all these things we need to take a look. Okay, when you come across the FCP performance issues via FCP protocol. Okay, any questions so far?
No, Naveen.
Let me show you few more things. Now let me show you inodes and all, inodes and where to check the consistency point and all. I'll show you now. So what is inode actually? So inode is nothing but it is a indexing number for the file and folder that we are creating on a volume. That means, for example, this is the volume, right? For example, this is a volume which is a 10 GB. Let's assume that this is a 10 GB volume. Okay. And we are copying a file. We are creating a folder. We are creating a file here. I have created some set of files. I have created a zip file. I have copied a picture like that. Whatever the data, it doesn't matter. Every data that you are copying, creating, deleting, okay, everything will be identified, everything will be assigned with a with an indexing number called inode. Okay, normally how we can identify the file? By saying the name of the file. For example, there is a document called sandoc. How can we identify it? With the help of name. But when it comes to ONTAP, how come ONTAP will be able to identify that file, particular file? It will be able to identify the file with indexing number. Okay, that is what we'll call it as inode. Okay, Eh, when you create a volume, okay, every volume will be assigned with set of inodes, number of inodes, few number of inodes. That means the default value is it will create one inode 32 KB, one inode per 32 KB. That means, okay, that means if you are creating a 10 GB volume, 10 GB, so you need to convert it into KBs, 1024. So GB, I'm converting it into MBs. Again, I need to convert it into KBs, right? So into 1024. Now it is in KBs now. 10 GB, I converted it into KBs. Now divided by 32. So 10 GB inode, sorry, 10 GB volume will get these many inodes, 3207 something, like, sorry, 3,27,000 680 inodes will get in a 10 GB volume. Approximately, this is the value. Look, like this is how it will assign inode count to every volume based on its size. Okay, inode count will of the volume will be decided based on the size of the volume. For example, if you have created a 100 GB volume, it will get more inodes than the 10 GB volume, obviously, because the size is bigger. Okay, that is how. Okay, sometimes when I am copying, when I am copying small files, then for example, let's assume that I created a small volume. Okay, let's assume that 20 MB volume I created, very small volume, and let's assume that it has only 200 inodes. It got only 200 inodes because of its small size. Let's assume that I am copying very small files which are in kbs, like 10 KB, 20 KB, 30 KB. So every file will have its own inode, right? So hardly I have copied only 5 MB, but I ran out of all 200 inodes. So as I run out of inodes, even though I have a 15 MB free space on this volume, still I'll be not able to copy the data. In order to continue copying the data, what do I need to do? I need to increase the inode count on this volume. Okay, then only it will allow me to copy the data. Then what are the ways? How can I increase the inode count? So the first procedure is increase the volume size so that it will add few more inodes. That is a one procedure. There is another procedure where without increasing the volume size also, you can increase the inode count. But how come? How can you increase the inode count? Like, can we increase it as much as we can? No, there is a limitation actually. So what is the default inode size? Normally, it will assign one inode per 32 KB, right? This is the value, right? But you can go up to one inode per 4 KB. This is the least you can go. This is the least you can go. That means earlier I told you for a 10 GB volume, so oh sorry, let me type it here. Into 1024 into 1024. So these many inodes I'll get by default by divided by 32. So this is the default inode count I'll get. But in order to know the maximum inode count for 10 GB volume, 10 into 1024 into 1024 divided by 4. So this is the maximum inode count I can go up to, which is 26 lakh 21,440. I can go up to, I can increase it my 10 GB volume inodes up to this count. When once you reach this count, when you try to increase the inode count, it will throw an error like you reached maximum size inode count. So what you need to do, you need to go, now you have left only one option, which is increasing the size of the volume, which will increase the inode count as well. Okay, but normally without increasing the volume also you can increase the inode count, but there is a limitation. Okay, any questions? If you are good, then I'll show you practically. Krishna, Anvesh, Zubair.
Good, Naveen.
No.
Okay, just let me connect to lab. So let me show you. Okay, so volume show, create a volume quickly. Volume create vserver name, wall1 aggregate something. Let's keep on aggregate and the size 1 GB. I'm creating a 1 GB volume. Simply, I'm not mentioning anything because not required actually. So it will get high nodes of which are sufficient to 1 GB. What is that you'll get for 1 GB volume? 1 into 1024 into 1024. So these many inodes, sorry, divided by 32. These many inodes, you'll get 32,000 something approximately. Now let's see. Volume show hyphen fields files. See 31 something close to 32,000, right? Remaining will be reserved already used. Okay, for metadata and all. Okay, this is how you can calculate the approximate inode count. For example, if I let me create a 32 10 GB volume, which is wall 2, and let me see, it will be 10 times. See, by default, you'll get one inode per 32 KB. That is the default option. So this is the command to check inodes. And if I want to see how many inodes used, then files used as well. Okay, this is the command. See, out of these many inodes, only 96 were used. 96 were used. Remaining are available. Okay, so okay, this is the command to check. Then how can I increase the inode count? Then the command is volume modify vserver name, volume name, files. So here I can go up to something 20 lakh, right? That is the maximum I told you. 20 lakh, 20,200. Let me. Okay, it is saying that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, maximum I can increase is up to this number only. That is what it is saying. Because this is a 1 GB, right? Sorry, I thought it is a 10 GB. I can go up to here. See, this is the way I can increase the inode count. Let me see now. See, it increased up to 22 lakh 2014. Okay, like that. For second volume also, let me increase it. Volume modify volume name files. Let me increase it up to this much. Okay, so this is the way you can increase the inode count without increasing the size. But if you increase the size, you'll get more inodes. So volume size vserver name volume name hyphen size new size plus 1 GB. You have not gained anything because you have already increased that volume inodes, right? That is the reason you are not getting any inode increase by increasing the volume size. Now what I'll do, let me show you by creating one more volume. Okay, and GB volume I'm creating wall 3. Okay, now let me check the inode count for wall 3. So this is the inode count, right? Now let me increase the wall 3 size by 10 more GB. Okay, wall 3. Okay. Now let's check the inode count. See, it got increased, it got double, right? 31 to 62,000. Why? 6 lakh, sorry. Why? Because as I increase the size of the volume, I'll get inodes as well. Okay. These are the two ways to increase the inodes. So when someone told you that they're able to access the share or they're able to access the NFS or whatever it is, the storage, they're able to read the data, but they're unable to write the data. Then it might be the issue with inode count. Okay. So you need to take a look at the inode utilization as well. And there is another command which will help you very easily to check the usage of inode is df-i and volume name. So it will give you how many are used, how many are free, what is the used percentage of inode. It will show you this command as well. df-i volume name. Okay. Either you can use this command fields, files and files used or df-i. Okay. Anything is fine. Any questions on inode?
No.
Cool. Now let me show you the failovers, controller failover. So let me connect to node 1 console. Failover means nothing but rebooting. Normally during the on-tap upgrade, it rebooted automatically, right? Reboot and everything will be has done automatically. But if you want to do it manually because of to do some hardware maintenance or as part of your annual reboot, like for example your company has a policy where you need to reboot the storages, servers, everything every 6 months or every 1 year. Some companies will do follow that standards. Then how to do that? But whenever you are rebooting the controller or whenever you are shutting down or whenever you are doing any maintenance activity, you must either connect it to the console directly or you must connect to the console via service processor. Okay, I'll show you how to connect via service processor. But right now I connected everything via console. Let's assume that I connected via console. Console means you know that, right? Direct cable connection to console port to our laptop. Let's assume that. So system node storage failover show. Storage failover show. Okay, this is the command which will show us the failover status of nodes. So now if my node 1 went down, then it will be the services can be failover to partner node, which is node 2. Is it possible to do a takeover? It is showing true. That means good. It should be true always. And it is showing that connected to controller 2. And controller 2 is connected to, it is showing like controller 1. That means these two controllers can help each other during the any maintenance activity or when they come across any issue. They can fail over the services from one controller to another controller. They'll be able to help each other. That is what it is saying. Now what I'll do, I will reboot node 1. So how to do that? System, sorry, storage failover. Okay, take over node 1. Off node means which node you want to reboot off, from which controller you are taking off the services, off node. Okay, and there are few things like option, is it immediate or normal, something like that. You need to take a look at all these things. Okay, and yeah, these things are not required actually. Allow mismatch, these will be like when you perform NDU, uh, normal manual non-disruptive upgrade. When you one controller is upgraded, in order to perform it takeover of other controller, you should use this option. But as this is a ANDU, you don't need all these options nowadays. Next, ignore quorum warnings, skip lift migration. That means I told you, right? Lifts will be migrated from one node to another node when controller got rebooted. If you don't want to do that, then yeah, you need to do this. Override veritos means sometimes it will throw warnings and it will not allow us to perform takeover. If you want to forcefully do that, then you need to use this option, override veritos to true, like that. Okay, if you don't want to reboot, you just want to shut down your controller one, then you need to select this option, halt true. That means halt means nothing but not reboot, it will shut down. Okay, now let me reboot it. Yes, see, now node 1 will goes down. See, it is performing, it is going down, and node 1 will goes down. See, it is going down now, node 1. Right now I'm on node 1. See, node 1. Let it reboot. So show. See, SFO, CFO, I told you, right? Storage failover, controller failover, these things are happening right now. We discussed about them in the during the on-tap upgrade. See, it will wait for like 15 seconds or something. After that, it will boot once reboot is completed. It is booting up now. See, controller 1 showing as unknown. Controller 2 in takeover. That means controller 1 will controller 2 is handling both the controller services. Like that, you can reboot the controllers or you can shut down the controllers. Normally shut down, I can't show you here because these are not physical controllers, right? Yeah. Still, even after shutdown also, you can access the controllers. You'll be able to again boot them up. Let me see if I can show them or not here. I'm not sure that that can be show. I mean, if I can show them in lab or not. Yeah, if possible, I'll show them. I'll shut down the controller and see. That's okay. It is lab, right? I can cancel it if they are down. See, there is an option called auto give back enabled, which will be initiated in 493 seconds. That means there is an option called auto give back enabled, so which will give the services back to controller 1 automatically once the controller is up. Okay. Actually, normally, if you want to do it manually, just disable that, or else you can perform the give back before that. Before, you don't need to wait for these many seconds. So storage failover show. If you run this command, sorry, storage failover show. If you run this command, see, waiting for give back. That means controller 1 is up and running and it is waiting for the services. It can take the services now. Waiting for give back means. Now let me give it back. I don't want auto give back. I want to do it manually. Storage failover, give back. Okay, where you are giving back? To one. Okay, storage failover, show give back. So show takeover, show give back. These things will show you in detail information. See, now it might be booting up now. See, it's booting up. SFO, CFO will happen in the backend. Okay, let it come up. Yeah, see, it came. If you run this command, no aggregates to give back. That means SFO, CFO, everything is completed. If you run storage failover show, it will show you everything normal. Cluster applications to come online because it got rebooted, right? So it will take some time to take all the services of node 1 back. Okay, the same way, if you want to perform, if you want to reboot the node 2, we can do it. Okay, let it finish, let it stabilize first. So that will, I'll show you storage. Let it stabilize. Let it show everything is perfect, like normal, connected to only node 2, something like that. Then we'll do the same on the other node. Show you. Yeah, so perfect. Everything is completed properly. Now let me try to, okay, shut down the node 2. Over node 2, not option. I want to halt it true. So what halt will do? Halt will shut down the controller, not reboot actually. I think it will not work. See, let it go down. if still the node is accessible, I can show you how to boot it up, and it will go to a prompt called loader prompt. No, actually it gone. Uh, yeah, because these are not real nodes, right? That's why I'll be not able to show you. See, when you reboot a controller, once it is shut down, once it is down, what it will do, it will go to a prompt called loader prompt. Okay. From there you can run few commands, and from there only you can reboot with you can boot the controller with older version as well. For example, I told you, right, in boot module will be having two ONTAP versions. For example, if you want to boot with a old ONTAP version, then you need to shut down your controller, go to boot loader prompt, and from there you can boot with a old version like boot underscore ONTAP, like that, boot underscore backup. Some commands will be there in loader prompt. Okay, just it will take you to a prompt called loader prompt. Just remember that. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's stop it for today. I'll Yeah, I thought of covering the cloud topics as well today, but it will be um, I mean, I can complete, but you can't take it, right? Let's have another session. Let's extend it for one more session. So in next session, we'll talk about the cloud topics and a few advanced topics. Yeah, after that we'll wrap up. That's it. That will be the last class. Okay.
Okay, Navin. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.